like when I kept on hearing those conversations, they kind of like
put you off a bit.
Put me off.
Yeah,
I'll be
absolutely.
honest with you, because it's
I
like
think that's so mad.
Yeah, they
I think
put me
that's
off,
so mad.
and I'm thinking, one, I'm not the biggest person in terms of education, to be fair with you.
Yeah.
But two, it's like cool, like me hearing all of these people who went university, came out, graduated.
Yeah, I might leave and be in the same circumstance.
Exactly.
What you're thinking.
Exactly.
And I'm in the same circumstance then, just with that.
It's literally that. It's literally that. When I thought about that, and I'm like, well, it's like a lose-lose. You go there, cool, you might have an experience, but then you come out and you're in exactly the same circumstances with this fucking degree. So it's like, how does that work? So, like for you, what are your thoughts on that? In general, be brutally honest about the whole thing.
When I'm being brutally honest, I hate when people talk about university debt in this country.
Yeah.
I think that conversation should just be burned up. It don't make no sense. Yeah, like when you're in somewhere like America and you take out... First of all, if you think about what the American people pay to go to university, I just want you to know that is insane. Yeah, like our thing is like $9,000 a year. Their thing will be like $18,000, $20,000, for the year. Yeah, and the government is gonna give us $9,000. In America, they don't give you no peas, no peas.
Tell them.
If your parents are not like middle class and can afford to spend $18,000 a year, what? I went uni and I'm lucky that my dad could support me to pay the rent, but obviously the degree is paid for. If my dad had to give me £9,000 a year for the degree, and then also try and help me with the rent, I probably wouldn't have went uni either. But in our country, they're gonna give you $9,000. Even if you are rich, they will give you $9,000. It doesn't matter. The money for the degree is paid for.
The money is there.
The money is paid for. The other loans that you might take out for your housing, all those kinds of things, that's a little bit different. But that big £9,000 that will end up being like 45 grand that has all the interest on it, that's given to you by the government. That ain't on your credit file.
Can I ask you a question?
That ain't on your credit file. But hold on, when you go on Experian, that's not there. That has no effect. So people like getting letter and they're like, yeah, my thing's like, 40 grand. Who cares? You only have to pay back the 40 grand if you make over a certain amount, and that amount then classifies as like, well, you probably got that job because you had a degree, right? Yeah. So now you're making your money's back. So it's like you've got your money's worth. So now that you're on a bigger salary, you can pay back a small portion of that salary to cover your degree. If you never get a good job, you never pay back the 40 grand. So are you going to tell me that's useless? It's free peas. Now you just went uni, you just had a good experience for free, fam. You can literally go there, make the best friends of your life. Even if you failed your degree in your last year, and then you just go work Greg's minimum wage forever, you don't have to pay back that money. They're just gonna wipe it off when you're 50 and be like, oh well, so you just got £45,000 of education for free. Now who's the fool that didn't take it? You're saying you were worried about 45 grand. You never would have had to pay it back unless you made like 50 grand. Now if your salary is 50 or 60 grand, then you think university was worth it because you probably use what you learned at university to help you get a job where your salary is 40, 50, 60 grand before you're 30 years old.
Exactly. Yeah,
if you're like 28 and you make like 40k, it's probably because you went uni. So then you probably should pay back some of the £9,000 that the government gave you. Yeah. And what you pay back is not like a large portion, bro. Like sometimes you're paying back like £20. If someone said to you it's £20 direct debit to go uni, and you heard about all the fun that us man are having at uni, you're taking £20 direct debit to go uni.
You're definitely taking it.
Because even if you never pay it off, it don't matter. It's not going to stop you from buying a house. If you wanted to go and get a loan from the bank, they're not going to say, oh, you went to university, you owe the government 45 grand. No one cares. Yeah. It's not a bank loan. Sometimes it's you, and you got to push harder, and you got to work harder, and you also got to work smarter, because you got to think that like, all right, now, here's the other thing I say about getting a degree. When I say I went to uni for the experience, it's because your degree probably is going to help you get your job to some degree, pardon, but like to some degree, the fact that you have a degree will help you. Yeah. But now it's not like you have a degree and there's 6 people who apply for the job, 2 people got a degree and 4 people don't. So really it's only you and another person with a degree. Now it's like, we need somebody who has a degree and who has a driving license and lives within 2 miles, and then that job still has 100 people who applied for it that fit all of that criteria.
God damn.
All of the criteria.
God
so that's
damn.
100 people you're fighting with degrees. So like, yeah, you have a degree, but the degree's not special anymore. The degree used to be special, and the degree used to be enough just to get you somewhere. Like, oh, I have the degree, and that could get you your job now because you're qualified. Now everybody's qualified. You get it? Everybody's qualified because the government is just giving every man 9 grand. So now that everyone's qualified, you got to work smarter than them, man. So it's like, what are you going to show me on your CV that's different, or what can you do in your personal time that you can also add to your whatever? Like, if you want to be a data analyst, and your mum is trying to do whatever in the house, and you're like, rah, cool, and you built your mum a spreadsheet, why don't you mention that on your CV? Be like, I also run the family finances, and I do da-da-da-da-da, and you're trying to get an accounting job. You can use those things. Show the people that you're passionate about finance, if that's really what you want to do. Or is it just that you have a finance degree because you wanted to make money, but you don't really care about finance, so now you can't fake the passion for it, so now you can't get a job? That's your fault. You didn't do something you liked. You did the wrong degree.
You know what? You dropped us so perfectly. I cannot wait. I can't even wait to watch this back. I'm proper taking some of that game because it's some real reality, some real shit. Like you said, like one thing that you get me. Like 100%. One of the main things that you said in there that really stood out to me, simply like, a degree is not as special as it used to be, motherfuckers. No. Let's keep it real.
It's not special no more. Everybody has one. Everyone's gone uni. You've seen everyone's story. You're literally on Instagram looking at everyone at uni party. 30,000 people. We're filling a warehouse. Just Midlands thing alone. You're filling a warehouse out of couple man from Birmingham, couple man from Nottingham, couple man from Wolverhampton. Look, and that's just all black people. What about all the white people that's also going uni? What about all the Chinese students we have and the Indian students? And like, there's so many cultures at uni. And there's so much people. Like, for you to think that when you leave here, just because you are qualified, and you're not even really qualified for anything, especially if your degree doesn't have accreditation. Yeah. Like, let's say you wanted to be an accountant, but you just did a degree in accounting and finance, but it's not accredited by the financial bodies of England that will make it easier for you to be an accountant or like professionally qualified. Immediately you've taken an L because there's a bunch of people who went to a uni with accreditation who are ahead of you in the list. So now when you apply for that job and there's 100 man, half of them have an accredited degree and half of them don't. All the people without the accredited degree is useless now. Because there's something that's better. There's another version. So now you got to think smart. Okay, I don't have the accreditation. What do I have? I work a summer job where I look after the accounts here and this. I have a little portfolio that I can build for myself or And if you don't have those things, it's because you don't care about that market. So then we're back to the original point of you did the wrong degree. You didn't do something that you cared about or something that was actually going to be useful for you. You probably just picked a degree based on like, I hear people in this industry are making peas. So I'm trying to have a degree for that thing. So what that you have a degree for that? Every man's got a degree. Like in your job interview, everyone that made it to that final stage with you probably has a degree. The same one as you. First of all, even if you've got 2-1, all the people with a first are laughing at you. Already now, just because you went uni, you thought everything was going to be smooth. It's like when you have A-levels, the person who's got BBB sitting next to the person who's got A is looking better.
Crazy.
So the first is already looking better than the 2-1. The accredited is already looking better than the non-accredited. You've got to take all those things into account. And it's mad because you have to take all that into account when you're like 17. And you think about your future and you're applying for that. So the question is, like, can we fill our 17-year-olds with enough knowledge so now when they pick their degree, they pick the accredited version and they pick the best version and they do a work placement. So when they finish and they apply for a new job, they don't just say, I've got a degree. They say, I've got a degree and I worked for a year and I've got a reference from there and I've got an accredited degree and I'm trying to do da-da-da-da-da.
Tell them.
Do you know what I'm saying? You got
So that's what singles you out from.
That's the working smarter. You've got to think about more than just this thing.
Exactly.
Like if you wanna, and that's just if you wanna be more than average. If you want to be average, then that's cool as well. I'm just not one of those people. Like, I'm not an average person. So when I'm doing something, it's well thought out, it's well constructed. Like whether it's music, whether it's life. Do you know what I mean? Because I'll make music out of my heart. Do you know what I'm saying? And of course, I'm hoping that the music thing blows. But I'm honest. If the music thing don't work, I'm going to have to work forever. I'm going to have to work until pension age unless I can build some type of business that's going to do a thing that's going to take me away from working. So then if I do think about working, even myself, I think, well, if I'm going to have a 9 to 5, then it needs to be a job with a good pension. Because either I'm going to work the job forever and then the pension is important, or my music's going to blow and the pension didn't matter anyway. I'm better off having a good pension. You gotta think beyond your current circumstance and your current just this line of thinking. Like, if you want to perform better than average, like, because if you actually look at the average stats ain't that good. Like, if you and your brethren are all just earning like what the average person earns for your age, you're probably struggling, to be honest with you. Like, you're not flourishing, do you know what I mean? You're looking at other people, that's when you start comparing yourself. Now you're looking on Instagram, you're seeing other people that's your age. My sister's in Mexico with her brethren. There's like 4 girls there on a yacht with some next brothers popping champagne. You're working in Tesco, only part-time. And do you know what I mean? And you didn't really... You got to think about all them kind of things. Like, if you want to just work in Tesco, and that's cool. Like, some people just love their family. They just want to be around. Like, their brother's got bare kids, my sister's got, and I just want to be a sick aunt. And I just want to be around. And I just, like, if you want to do that, then that's cool. But if you expect more of your life than that, you need to rewire your thinking and start thinking about more than just